How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Happy Thursday. Happy Thankful Thursday. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I don't know why I got this jacket zipped up to my neck. How y'all doing? How y'all doing on this Thankful Thursday? Testimonial Thursday. Throwback Thursday. How y'all doing? Y'all come on in, come on in, come on in. Speak to you, girl. Let me know what city, what state that you all are chiming in from. Welcome to another daily devotion. Welcome to Daily Devotion. I go live Monday through Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I do a daily devotion with y'all. Today's topic is called If You're a Leader, Read This. So y'all come on in, like my live, share my live, because you never know who may need what it is that I have to say. All right. It's coming from Romans 12, chapter 10 through the 11th verse. Honor one another. Never be lacking in zeal. A leadership expert says most leaders focus on two things: the vision and the bottom line. The vision is what usually excites us most, and taking care of the bottom line keeps us in business. But between the vision and the bottom line are all the people in your organization. You ignore the people and only pay attention to these other two things, you will lose. Hello. If you ignore the people and only pay attention to those two things, you will lose the people and the vision, and probably the bottom line too. But if you focus on the people, you have the potential to win the people, the vision, and the bottom line. Interestingly, the Bible puts these two things together: honor one another, never be lacking in zeal, hard work. When business consultant Jim Collins studied great companies, he discovered level 5 leaders. He says these leaders refuse to take credit for the organization's accomplishments. Instead, they humbly gave credit to their employees. Numerous leaders say they value their people and customers. That's a popular thing to say, and anyone can say that. But if you want to find out whether this is value your organization actually hold, chat with the people who know your organization well but aren't employed by you. What do they say? Their answers will show you the most accurate picture. Since you know your own heart better than anyone else, it all starts with you. Ask yourself, do I place a high value on people? If you do, it will show up in how you treat them. If you treat them right, God will bless your efforts. And the Bible says, the blessings of the Lord makes rich. Proverbs 10:22. So if you're a manager, or maybe you're not a manager and maybe you're an employee, do you notice that your employer is focusing on the vision and the bottom line? I remember when I used to work for Amazon. You had certain people you had certain people that focus on the bottom line and the vision, and then you had some people who cared about the people. Now, mind you, I used to do what I was supposed to do. Like, I was in packing. So in packing at Amazon, I feel like if you're working at Amazon in the warehouse, the easiest thing to do is to be a packer in my eyes. That's the easiest way. To me, that's the easiest. And I did that for a couple years, and then I moved into HR. But I really notice how people really treat you and worry about the bottom line. When I got pregnant with my daughter, I got pregnant while I was still there, and I was gonna quit, right? And when I remember one lady, she was like, "No, Amazon got good benefits, so don't quit." Cause I ain't care about no benefits. I didn't care about no benefits at the time. Like that was my mindset. Because if you work at Amazon, you know it's long hours. They want you to hit rate. They got a certain amount of product they want you to ship out a day, and they like for real. If you know anybody who worked at Amazon or you've worked at Amazon, you know Amazon is real fast paced, and they're all about numbers, 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 numbers. And when I was pregnant, I remember I wasn't in HR. I was back out on the floor, right? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6 months pregnant. And they moved me from out of my department to another department because the other department needed help. Y'all know them people wanted me to climb a ladder. Now, mind you, I said I was 5 or 6 months pregnant, and they wanted me to climb a ladder. Because at Amazon, if your doctor doesn't give you a medical excuse, when you go to work, they're expecting you to do that. So they were expecting me, hey, what's your question? I do block people, so if you get crazy, I will block you. But yeah, they still wanted me to climb the ladder because at the time, because of my department, I can do whatever it is that I need to do with no problem. But when I moved to another department that wasn't my department, they still wanted me to climb ladders to get the items that like they wanted me to go pick. And with pick, you got stuff from the bottom all the way up to the top. So when I went to HR and I was like, they want me. What should I do if I think a woman is cheating on me? So this is not the live for that. And I think it's self-explanatory. Your question is self-explanatory of what to do. But they was like, well, you don't have anything on file from your doctor, so we're still expecting you. Hey, Nisha, how you doing? We're still expecting you to climb that ladder because your doctor didn't send you nothing. And I'm like, what? You want me to do what? So when the people in my department, when they found that out, they was like, oh no, Sallie, you ain't climbing no ladder, okay? They was like, if you got to get something from up high, let us know and we'll get on the ladder and we'll get it for you. And then it was another instance where they wanted me to pick up a like they don't know what you're gonna get when you're picking. When they put you picking the item, they don't know what you're gonna get. So when they move me out of my department and put me in another department again, now this time they wanted me to pick up a car jack. Now it wasn't the bigger ones, but it was like this size right here, and it had to weigh, I don't know, about 15, 20 pounds. Now, by this time, when I went to pick up dad, I'm about 7 months pregnant. And I was like, how I'm going to pick this thing up? And what make them people think I'm supposed to pick this up? Like, so I went back to HR again. I went back again. I was like, all right, now, I done come to y'all before. And I told y'all before, I couldn't. I'm pregnant. And they was like, well, your doctor would give you no restriction. Now, mind you, when I went to my doctor and asked for restrictions, the doctor that I was going to, they told me, oh, you can do all that. You can pick that up. I said, I can get on the ladder. And the lady was like, the midwife was like, yeah, you, the first time she told me, yeah, then she came back and she told me, no, she's like, I'll just write you a note saying that you can't get on a ladder. I said, so you telling me I could pick up this car jack? And she was like, yeah. I said, oh, okay. Between her telling me I don't need no restrictions at Amazon, and I know with the type of work that I was doing, I know that I am supposed to be doing. Between that and that, also that particular doctor office wouldn't sign my FMLA paperwork for me, for me leaving work to come to my doctor's appointment. They wouldn't sign it so I could still get paid. I left that doctor office and I ended up going to another doctor office. I switched doctors. And when I switched doctors, I didn't even ask for restrictions. I just was going through my paperwork like a week after I went to the doctor. I was going through my paperwork because they give you like a whole bunch of brochures and all this other stuff. Yeah, they gave me restrictions. So when I gave them the restrictions, I gave it to HR. They immediately put me out of work. Immediately. I didn't even have to ask for nothing. They put me out of work because now they got to examine based off of the restrictions. Am I able at 7 months to do all of my job that I was supposed to do? And I couldn't. So that job at Amazon showed me that they focus on their vision and the bottom line. But I did have a manager. Anytime they sent me to his department and he knew I was pregnant, he's like, Sallie, why you here? You're not working. And he would send me home. Like I didn't have to ask. I didn't have to ask to go home. He just automatically VTO me. And he would send me home. He was like, no, I'm not. He's not sending me no other department. Like, and he would just send me home because he felt like me being pregnant and in the conditions at Amazon, that is not what I need to do. What you say, Nisha? That sound like those people at Universe when I was pregnant. Girl, them people don't care. If your doctor ain't giving no restrictions, now they know what type of job they have at their facility. And to tell the medical people, because they got their own little medical office thing inside of Amazon. And if you go to them and you're pregnant, they're not going to really say much to help you. They want you to go get something from the doctor to say that you can't, even though they know you can't. They know you physically cannot do it. They're not gonna say you can't. They want you to go get you a doctor's note. And when I got that doctor's note, I went out around Valentine's Day. Yeah, because that's when Amazon still had stock, and I waited for my stock to vest. Because if I went on maternity leave, I couldn't get my stock until after I came back. So I let my stock vest first, and then I went out on maternity leave. So I went out in February. I had my daughter in April, the end of April at that. I had her the end of April. Y'all know when I went back to work in August. That's the type of medical leave. I'm like, they did say they got good health insurance. They did. Because I got from February to April, I got paid prepartum. First they put me out on short-term disability. And then they gave me prepartum starting April until I had her on the 26th. And then after I had her on the 26th, then I got the postpartum with they give you 8 weeks at Amazon. And then your FMLA worker call you and they be like, do you want to come back to work or do you want to use your extra? It's either extra 4 weeks or extra 6 weeks. And I was like, I could do what? Give me all that. I want all that. I'm using all this. So I didn't go back from February. I didn't work from February and I still got paid. I still got a check. I still got my check every 2 weeks. Like everybody else while I was working at Amazon. From February and until August when I went back to work, I was getting a check every 2 weeks. So I must say that is something at Amazon. They do got good benefits. But they're gonna work you. And like I said, it says a leadership expert says most leaders focus on two things: the vision and the bottom line. And that's one of the things I learned at Amazon, that they focus on the vision and the bottom line. Not necessarily focusing on you, but they're going to focus on the vision and the bottom line. Because I worked on the floor and I worked in the office with the managers and everything, HR. So I knew how it worked on both sides, how to work in the office at Amazon and how it was to be on the floor at Amazon. So in the office, I feel like it was the same way. I was just a very vocal person. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. That was I'm saved, but I guess what they say, half hood, half holy. I was that the save I was when I was working at Amazon. Well, my daughter's 7 now, so that was over 7 years. She'll be 8 next month. So that's almost 8 years ago when I'm working at Amazon. And 8 years ago, that's when I was half hood, half holy. And I don't think I'm too much hood right now because the Lord has, He has gathered me together with, how I talk to people. He don't, He be checking me when I talk to people. He don't let me say certain things I can't say anymore. I mean, I was never a cusser like that, so you ain't had to worry about me cursing at you. But I will tell you off. Hey, hey James, how you doing? I will tell you off, but I don't do that no more. I give you grace. I've learned to give people grace and not bite their head off first. James, I do give you grace. I give you grace. I give you grace. So, it says the Bible tells us that we shall honor one another. That's the first thing you should do if you're a business owner. You should learn to honor people first, then the vision, and then the bottom line will come. So are you in that order, or are you vision, bottom line, people? Because I know a lot of businesses are vision, bottom line, and then the people. Or sometimes they might be bottom line, vision, people. Because I know at Amazon, if you did not make rate is how fast you do a particular job, like whatever your job is, you had to do, like, let's say I was in packing, you had to pack out a certain amount of boxes in an hour, and they time you every hour. They're checking to see how fast you're going. They time you anytime you step away from your station. Anytime you step away from your station, let's say you go to the restroom. If you go to the restroom, they're clocking you to see what took you so long from packing out the next item. And if you had a lot of those where they're noticing it's a habit, maybe you taking long bathroom breaks. Maybe you got a problem with your stomach and they don't know. They're going to call you in the office to figure out why you have these long breaks in between you packing out, because they're looking for you to pack out these items at a certain amount of time. Now, mind you, I didn't have a problem with it, with making sure I hit rate, but it is a lot of people who had a problem with it because Amazon they're really about numbers. I mean, I haven't been there in 8 years. They may have changed. I don't know. I don't know. It might still be the same way. You guess you hood, James. If you hood, you must be keeping it hidden, because I haven't seen where you're hooded. I don't know. Where are you hood? Because I haven't seen that. You must it must be when you're Must be when you're not at church. Cause at church, I haven't seen hood. I haven't seen hood in you. I was looking at something the other. Oh, so is that when you're not at church? Oh, okay, cool. So I was looking at something, and it was talking about how maybe you were meant to be a business owner, right? I can't remember who said that. There was like, um, if you was on a job and you had a terrible boss, God probably had you on that job with that terrible boss for you to learn how not to treat your employees because you were meant to be a business owner. And I was like, you know what? That was me. Because when I was at my I was a paralegal for 10 years before God, God retired me. July will be 5 years since I worked a job for anybody. And I was working as a paralegal. But my first paralegal job that I had back in 2010, I remember saying, I was like, I would never treat my people like how this man treat us. Like I'm like, I would never treat my people like this. I'm like, Lord, you must be got me here. Like I literally said this back in 2010. I'm like, he really teaching me how not to have my business, because I wanted to go off to law school and start my own law firm. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to run my law firm like this. I mean, y'all, it was, I don't even want to say nothing. Look, judge or judgment or productivity isn't that like modern day slavery, just a twist. Um, you can say that. It can be like that. If you know anybody that worked at Amazon, Fango, if you know anybody that it's something. It's something. It's something over there. But I wanted to have my own law firm, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to run my law firm like this. I'm gonna try to give y'all an example. Like, I don't know if I say this, somebody might know who I talk about. I don't want to say that. Um, I'm not saying that I wouldn't have family members working for me. Like, if my family member, if I feel like they're qualified for the position that I have, then I will put them in that position. But I don't think I will put a family member to head my office if they didn't have the capacity to do it. And that's what the first law office did. It was a member of his family that ran his office. And me and her butt heads all the time. When you talk about job and meeting production numbers and a bad man, you definitely in my Kool-Aid. Oh wow. This was meant for you today, then. This was meant for you. Like me and this, like me and that family member of his. Because I was the type of person, I'm gonna say what everybody's thinking, but they're afraid to say. Like that's the type of person I am. Because I think I think things through. Like I like to think things through, and sometimes I'm very blunt. Like if I done thought about something and it's on my mind, then when I see you, I'ma just ask you. You like that too? I'm just gonna ask you. Like, I'm just gonna blurt it out. What did it like? I do that to my husband too. Like, it just be most random stuff, and I ask my husband a question, and he look at me like, where that come from? Like, why are you asking me that? Like, it don't even be the proper time. Like, it could be something just as silly as it want to be, and I would just randomly ask my husband a question, and he'd be like, "Girl, what?" I know he be wanting me to get out his face, but with this family member that was at the law firm, like, we would be in meetings and I would ask her a question like, why? Like, I'm the person who gonna ask why. Like, why you want me to do this? If it ain't in my job description, why? I ain't never did this before. Like, that'd be me. When I tell y'all my attitude in my past was, I even remember a time when I was talking to the attorney one time. Now, mind you, I tell y'all, this is my first. I'm gonna graduate with my associates in paralegal studies, and this was my first paralegal job. And when me and her was talking, and me and her was talking about something, and he said something smart to me. So I look at him, and y'all know how ladies, y'all know how we get when somebody say something smart to us, and they catch us off guard. I'm gonna put my hand on my hip, and my leg been lean back, and I look at that man. I say, who you think you talking to? I say, who you think you talking to? He look at me, he say, Sally, you know I'm your boss, right? And I'm like, and who you talking to? That's one of the reasons I believe the Lord called me off these people job. Because the Lord know when something ain't right and everybody else quiet about it, and I know what's going on ain't right, I'm going to bring it to your attention because everybody else scared, and I'm tired of beating around the bush, and I want the answer to the question. Even I've been at one office where I had to go get the handbook and go flip through the handbook because what you talk about, this is not in this handbook, so I don't know what you talk about. That's the type of person I am. I was. Yes, indeed. They hate me at the job because I keep it 100. I don't play. When I was in HR at Amazon, I was talking to my mom about this not too long ago too, y'all. Like this particular topic, me and my mom had talked about it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Mom, that's why the Lord called me out of these people job. The Lord know, he knows his daughter, and you know how people email you stuff, and stuff can get misconstrued when texting, the how you come off, people can take it wrong. They can take it the wrong way. So one of the managers emailed me, and I emailed him back. And when I emailed him back, he must be went back to my boss. He went to my boss. And my boss called me in and said, Sally, did you email such and such? And I was like, yeah, I did. And he was like, what did you say to that man? I said, what you mean? I just answered his question. If I sent you something and you emailing me as if I didn't send it to you, and you can't find what I said or the email that I sent, that's not on me. That's on you. If you come at me with a tone in your email, I'm going to give you that same tone back in the email, okay? I know that is not proper, as they say in HR. I think that's why they didn't I was well overqualified for another position in HR. Exactly, nice, nasty. Right. I was well qualified for another position because by this time when I was at Amazon, I had already graduated with my bachelor's in paralegal studies, and I was working on my MBA when I was at Amazon. And since I was in HR, I added on the emphasis of HR management. So I was like, well, I'm already here. I'm already in HR. I'm just going to go ahead and move up through the chains of Amazon. But my mouth, yeah, they the excuse they gave me was so crazy. Like, I did, mind you, first they told me for one job, they told me I didn't have to do an interview for. Then they came back to me and said I had to do the interview. They said they were just gonna bring me in because they know I already know how to do the job. I don't got to get trained for it. Then it's like, excuse me, they flipped it, and all of a sudden I got to fill out an application. Um I got to interview for it all over again, and I'm like, what? Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead, get in the interview, and went through the interview. And I know one of the questions the lady, I think she asked me, she wanted me to talk about a project that I worked on while I was in HR. So I talk about like I've done a lot of projects, and I guess I didn't talk about the project she wanted me to talk about. So when I asked for feedback, because I ended up not getting the position. And when I got the feedback, she said, oh, I know it was something that you worked on, and me and you actually worked on it together, and you didn't mention it. So you knew I knew how to do it. I just mentioned another project and not the other project. And so I didn't get a job, but you know I could do it. Y'all see how dumb that was? Then there was another position that I went in. Dog, I can't remember, what did she say? Now that one was bogus too. The response she got, and then like when I did that, God was like, zip. The Lord, like after the second one, and they gave me those flaky responses because they know I was technically overqualified for the positions that I was applying for. God was like, don't you apply to nothing else. Don't you apply to nothing else. And y'all know, as soon, because people, like, everybody knew I was going to get these positions. Like everybody, I'm like, I'm not even going to apply, Sallie, because I know you're going to get them. And I didn't get them. So everybody was shocked. I'm like, you ain't get it? If you ain't get it, I know I ain't going to get it. You did the job, and then I giving it to you. Oh, I know I ain't gonna get it. So, and as soon as I said I ain't doing no more, one of my friends was like, Sallie, I'm like, girl, I'm not applying for another thing up in here. I said nothing. I said, the Lord tell me not to apply. And y'all know, like a week after I said I'm not gonna apply for nothing else here, I got a call to go back into my field of being a paralegal. So I went back. I left Amazon. Like at Amazon, I don't know if they still do it, but at the time, you only had to give a 1-day notice. Like I ain't had to give no 2-week notice. When I found out I only had to do a 1-day notice, I worked until the day before I start my new job, and I gave them my 1-day notice, and I left. That's when I knew. And then after that, I worked a couple more years. When I left Amazon in 2018. So the next 7 years, I was working as a paralegal until the Lord said, nope, it's time. You're done. You're not working another person's job. Come on, daughter. I got something else for you. But today has been fun, y'all. It's been fun. Today's topic was, if you're a leader, read this. Most leaders focus on two things: the vision and the bottom line. The vision is what usually excites us most and take care of the bottom line and keeps us in business. But it says, but between the vision and the bottom line, all the people in the organization, if you ignore your people and only pay attention to these two things, you will lose the people and you will lose the vision. But it says, the Bible puts these two things together: honor one another, never be lacking in zeal, hard work. Because it says, if you focus on the people, you have the potential to win the people, the vision, and the bottom line. So y'all hear that? You focus on the people first in your business, and then the vision, and then your bottom line. Where, because if your people know you care about them, they're going to work their butt off for you because they know you care. But if you don't care, they will give you they behind the kids and say, bunk it. I'm here for a check. Whatever the minimum is, that's all you getting out of me. That's all you gonna get. That's it. So make sure you as a leader are putting your people first, then your vision, and then your bottom line will come by default. It says, and the Bible says, the blessings of the Lord makes rich. Proverbs 10:22. I pray you all were blessed by today's daily devotion. I pray you all have an amazing night on purpose. I will be back here tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Tomorrow's topic is learn to say no. And that's coming from John 17:4. I brought glory to you. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.